Hello everyone, welcome back to this episode of Jamie Plays with me, Jamie. In this video, we're going to have a look at the patch notes for the recently released update to Star Trek New Horizons. So in the month of September, we saw that Paradox updated the base game Stellaris from 3.0.4 to 3.1 and then released two bug fix patches, which were 3.1.1 and 3.1.2. So yesterday, which would have been the 3rd of October as I'm recording this video, the Paradoxical development team who are behind Star Trek New Horizons have released their 3.1.2 compatibility patch, which brings Star Trek New Horizons from the 3.0.4 version to the current 3.1.2 version. As is typical for these kind of compatibility patches that are released for Star Trek New Horizons, there really isn't necessarily much content that's added, although as you can see here on the screen, there is a little bit. Primarily, the team is looking at fixes as well in this bug patch, and is also incorporating new mechanics, as generally there are a lot of changes in the base game that in Star Trek New Horizons needs to be made compatible to the current version of Stellaris. So we're going to take a quick look through these patch notes. As you can see, we are currently on their Discord server. So this is the Discord server of the Star Trek New Horizons development team. And if you use Discord and you're not a member yet, you should definitely follow their server, as this is where they post a lot of the kind of latest information. People chat about Star Trek New Horizons, report bugs, things like that. So here I'm currently looking at the patch notes channel. If you can't see this, make sure that under the roles and access channel, you have actually selected the Star Trek New Horizons community, and then you will be able to see the patch notes, which is down here. So let's jump in. So as you can see from the beginning of the notes, they've added a couple of events to this new patch. So they've definitely added the recent and somewhat controversial Mugato event, so the Mugato mission from Lower Decks. So I won't ruin that if you haven't seen it yet. Definitely will be a very interesting mission. They've also added expedition missions through the Bajoran wormhole. So you would have seen this during Deep Space Nine, for example, when the Vulcans sent through science ships, or the Bajorans sent through colony ships. Things like that will also now be included in Star Trek New Horizons. Another event titled here is called The Social. I'm actually not sure what this refers to. I tried to do a bit of research. Wasn't really able to find in a Star Trek episode that was called Social or something like that. So I'm honestly not sure what this event refers to. So it's going to be interesting for me to see if we have this event pop up. If you do know what it is, please put it in the comments below. It'd be interesting to see. So some other kind of content has been added as well. As you can see here, there are some observation missions to invade warp-capable primitive cultures, which is a little bit of a pain for me as well, because I'm going to have to redo the primitive species and the interactions video that I made previously. I think it's going to be a great mechanic, especially if you're really into taking over helpless people, Koff, Romulans, Klingons, Cardassians, and most of the other empires, Koff. Speaking of helpless people to take over, a couple have been added. So there's the Aurelian Parliaments, as well as the Aurelian Parliaments are a minor species, and the Chalnoth have been added as a warp-capable species as well. Another thing you might be thinking of taking over, is also the new boarding mechanic. So when ships are fighting, your ships can now actually have something called marine modules that are attached. So if you think of Star Trek Enterprise, when they go into the Delphic Expanse, they take along the Mako Marines with them. That's what this is based on. You can now add these modules to your ships, and there's a random chance of them actually boarding during a fight and causing some damage to a ship. Who knows, maybe in the future, so it's not currently added, but maybe in the future we'll actually be able to take over ships as well using this mechanic, which would be awesome. Of course, because we now have this new module, certain ships need to be able to attach this module or to actually have this module, so that's been added. So of course the modules themselves have been added. For the Cardassians, the Pakled, the Dominion, and the Suliban kind of specifically here, have a new marine module. There are unique modules for the Hirogen, the Klingons, the Romulans, and the Federation as well, which will be very interesting. Something else is that there are also new troop transport ships. I'm honestly not sure completely what this refers to, whether this is for troops, whether this is new ships or whether this is just the armies that you have, whether they have kind of new models. We'll definitely have to dive into that and kind of see what's happening there. Something else that's also really changing with the marine modules is kind of how we do planet invasions. So you may remember in previous versions where a Borg cube, when it's sitting over a planet, can transport down drones. So certain ships that also have the marine module, so ships with a marine module, can land troops on a planet's surface whilst bombarding it. So you might have a chance of actually taking over the planet without having kind of your armies that you've built on your planets come and just using the marines that are there, which would be interesting. So yeah, we're definitely going to see this in the new playthrough that I'm going to start that's going to come out tomorrow. So on the 5th of October is when the first episode will come out. So that will be very interesting to see all of that. There's also been a few changes to the AI and the code also to make everything else run more smoothly and to, as it says, reduce unneeded event spam. So hopefully, I mean, we'll definitely see that next playthrough as well, so in tomorrow's episode. And also, for those who want the extra challenge, the tech slowdown has been tweaked as well, so it now changes depending on which era you're in. Before it was just, I believe, minus 10% to all research, and now it's become a little bit more dynamic depending on the current level of technology and the era that you're in. So we'll most likely be playing with that as well. As you can see, there are lots of fixes here. The numerous fixes, which include things like giving people the right uniforms, giving them the right hair, giving them the right portraits, making ships look even sexier and making sure they actually work correctly, a more capable AI as well, so changes to the AI, and also fully functional events. So certain events had some small minor issues from the look of it, or at least from the fixes that are here, and it looks like a lot of those has been fixed. Speaking of ships and things as well, several models have been tweaked, so either you get them sooner or later, or some of them be given a new model, like the Yorktown model, for example, which is beautiful. We now have access to the Lexington class refit, so it looks like especially the Federation, in fact only the Federation here, has been tweaked in terms of ships. So that would be interesting, and we'll definitely see those tomorrow as well. And now, let's move on to kind of the compatibility patches. So a big thing when 3.1 came out was a big changes to things like the, well, it was basically based on the traditions and how all of the traditions worked. Of course, this has caused some problems for Star Trek New Horizons and why it took so long for the new patch to come out. And it also means it's caused some other changes for things like the UI, the espionage system, and the AI itself. So I think what's going to be most notable to Star Trek New Horizons will be the new traditions that are included here, which are things like traditions for the secret agencies, such as Section 31, or the Tal Shiar, and the Obsidian Order as well, as you can see here. So I think this is really going to be amazing, especially with the, I mean, these ones, and also now the tier 2 traditions, so which was also a big feature in the LEM update, the 3.1 update to Stellaris. So, and I think, as I said, I think this is going to be amazing. So if you read here, for example, there are new rewards for completing those traditions, or for having those traditions. For example, the Federation gets a new megastructure, which is based on a starbase. There's a new mechanic for the Klingon ships to gain unity and influence when fighting. The Ferengi can throw around some latinum to gain intel. The Romulan cloak can be improved if your fleet is being led by a Tal Shiar or Zat Vash operative or leader. And also, defeating the Borg, I think this is going to be very interesting as well. Defeated Borg ships may now provide a small bonus on destruction, so that's also going to be a tier 2 tradition that I'm really, really looking forward to. One thing in terms of balance is that it might give kind of the major races yet another leg up over the minor ones, unfortunately, because these traditions are unlocked for the Federation, Klingons, Dominion, Ferengi, Borg, Cardassian, and Romulans, so not for people like the Hirogen or the Zinti Patriarchy or things like that. However, it definitely makes sense why the devs did it, because these are the races that the vast majority of us play regularly. We don't generally go for the Zinti Patriarchy over these ones. I mean, that being said, I'm sure that people have played the minor races, but it's really the major ones that people focus on. So it makes sense that these were unlocked for the major ones for right now. Maybe we'll see this also expanded. I'm sure that it has been added. I'm sure that the team now has the opportunity to expand it, and we probably will see that in the future, I think. And to be honest, I think I'm really looking to dig my teeth into these as well. And that's definitely why we're jumping into a new playthrough starting tomorrow. Also, put your guesses in the comments about what kind of empire or race you think that I am going to play as. I'd be interested to see what you think I should do versus what that I then actually do tomorrow. While we are here on Discord, I also just wanted to show you the Discord that Cornish and I share. It's here. So this is where, for example, we announce new things for both of our channels, as well as chat with members. If you want to join, simply click on the link in the video description below, and you'll instantly join, select a role and agree to the rules, and then you'll be able to see everything and it will look great. So we announce things here, we see game updates from different games that we play. You can also get alerts for the videos that are posted on our YouTube channels, everything like that, and then just chat and all of this stuff here, like you would in many Discord servers. So I hope to see those of you there who actually use Discord, and I hope also to see you tomorrow again back on this channel for another Star Trek New Horizons video. Bye for now.
Make it so.